Grand Duchess will get it for you. Grand Duchess, this is Madam Seymour.
You too?
This is Mr. Seymour. That is Miss Carmichael. Mr. Carmichael, Grandma, and Miss.
All right now, Mr. Penna.
Please have a seat, Your Highness.
Oh, thank you. You're welcome.
We're most honored to have you, Your Highness.
I am most able to be here. How soon is it?
Oh, quite soon, Your Highness.
I do not mean to be rude, but I must be at the restaurant playing the clock. I am substituting for another waitress.
I will make sure you are on time.
Thank you.
Your Highness, I think he waited on you once. The child. The 72nd Street place.
No. That was my sister.
The Grand Duchess, Natasha.
Yes, I work in Times Square.
Oh.
Quite a lot of you folks over here now, aren't there, Brenda?
Yes, many. My uncle, the Grand Duke Sergei, is an elevator man at Macy's. A very nice man nonetheless. Then there is my cousin, Prince Alexis. He will not speak to the rest of us because he works at Betty Harmony. He is in ladies' underwear.
When he was selling hot dogs at Coney Island, he was willing to talk to you.
Not home call. Our time is coming. My sister Natasha is studying to be a name purist. Uncle Sergei there counts to make floor walker. And next month, I get transferred to the Fifth Avenue Childs. From there, there's only a step to Strauss, and then we will see what Prince Alexis says.
Well, I think you got him.
You were telling me.
Yes, go.
Did you know who saw it? Personally, I mean.
Of course, it was my cousin. It was terrible what happened, but perhaps it was for the best. We're coming to the job now.
Pravda, this is true.
And cold relations are cold relations. It is the same in every family. My cousin, the King of Sweden, was very nice to us for about 10 years. Every once in a while, he would send in a money order, but then he said, "Oh, I just cannot go on. I am not doing so well myself. I do not blame him."
No, of course not. Would you excuse me for a minute?
Grand Duchess, is it true what they say about breastfeeding?
Everyone wants to know about Rasputin. Yes, my dear, it is true. And
You don't say.
yes.
Grand Duchess, we must watch the time.
Oh, yes. I must not be late. The manager does not like me. He is a communist.
Well, Essie, why don't you go help bring in the kitchen?
I will help too. I am very good. Look, where is the kitchen?
Oh, it's that good. Not on your day off, Your Highness.
But I love to cook. Come, going off. If they have got salad green and washing, I will make you.
Princes, come my fellow, I will show you something.
The Duchess is all right, isn't she? Hey, Duchess, can I help?
Oh, yes, come on.
Gotta put the face for a mask, huh?
Really, she's a very nice lady, considering she's a Grand Duchess.
Wow, I say it's wonderful. It's wonderful what some people go through, and it still keeps kind of gay too.
Yes. She almost made me forget about everything for a second.
Well, I suppose I better go up that hat.
No, wait, I think we're coming down. Maybe Tony's.
Ed, will you bring the bag down, please?
Don't you do it, Ed.
Ed, please.
Fine, bring it down. You know you have the most stubbornest daughter in all 48 states.
Must be the cow.
Well, if it is, it certainly is wonderful service.
Is Tony here, Alice?
Yes, he is. Come on in, Kirby.
How do you do?
Good evening. I'm sorry to intrude, but Tony, I need you to come home. Your mother is very upset. Very well, Father. Goodbye, Alice.
Bye, Tony.
I know this must upset you, but it upsets me and Mrs. Kirby just as much. I swear. I'm sure you understand.
Yes, and in a way though. Now listen, Mr. Kirby. I'm not the type of person that tries to run people's lives, but I'm not sure these two young people have as much sense as, say, you and I do.
Grandma, will you please don't do this?
Why? I'm only talking to Mr. Kirby. A cat can't look at a king.
Do that for your Alice?
Well, you've got a while for the train coming, Alice.
Alice,
Are you ready, Tony?
Mr. Kirby, I suppose after last night, you think this family is, kind of crazy?
Oh, no. It's just that, well, I'm not used to going out to dinner and spending the night in jail.
Well, no, you've got to remember you guys did come on the wrong night. Now tonight, nothing will happen at all. Maybe.
Well, it wasn't merely last night that convinced me and Mrs. Kirby that this engagement would be unwise.
Father, I can handle my own affairs. Now, Alice, for the very last time, were you married?
No, Tony, I know exactly what your father means, and he's right.
No, he's not, Alice.
Listen, Alice, you love this boy and you're not going to marry him because we're the type of people we are.
I didn't say that, Grandma. It's just,
I know, you think the two families wouldn't get along, but who's to say they're right and we're wrong?
I didn't say that, Grandma. I only feel that.
Well, what I feel is that Tony is too nice a boy to wake up 20 years later with only stocks and bonds in his life.
How's that?
Yes, that's right. Mixed up and unhappy, just the way you are.
Oh, I beg your pardon, Miss Vanderhoff. I'm a very happy man.
Really? Where do you think you get all your indigestion from? Happiness? No, sir. You get it because all your time is spent doing things you don't want to do.
Oh, I don't do anything I don't want to do.
Really? You said yourself last night, after a week of Wall Street, you're pretty damn crazy. Why do you keep on doing it?
Why do I keep on? Why is my business? A man can't give up his business.
Well, why not? You've got all the money you need. You can't take it with you.
Yes, that is true, Miss Vanderhoff. What do you want me to do? Live the way you do nothing?
Well, I have quite enough time for everything. Read, write, go to zoos, go to parks. I don't have to spend 6 hours doing something that I don't want to do before I get 1 hour doing what I actually love to do. What's wrong with that?
What's wrong with that? So, say we all did this. Went to zoos. Totally ridiculous. Who would do the work?
Well, there's always people that want to do the work, Mr. Kirby. And not because they had to, it's because they want to. Inventions and they fly the oceans. You can't stop them, Mr. Kirby. I think you're missing something. You must have wanted more when you sort out this business.
I'm not aware of missing anything.
I wasn't either. I was right out there in the world, worried about whether Blaine or Carter was going to win president. Yeah, and you know what? I used to worry about getting to work too. Afraid if I didn't sit there and get to that clock on time, I wouldn't get any money. What I'm saying is, Mr. Kirby, I've got 35 years nobody can take away from me. You see?
Yes, I do see. But it's a very dangerous philosophy, Miss Vanderhoff, and it's the reason I'm opposed to this marriage. I don't want Tony to come under its influence.
What's the matter with the father?
What's the matter with it? Why, it's communism. That's the matter.
Oh. You know, you didn't always think so.
Of course I did. What are you talking about?
I'll tell you what I'm talking about. You didn't always think so because there was a time you wanted to be a trapeze artist.
Well, well, well.
Right? How dare you, Tony? How dare you read those?
Why, that's wonderful, Mr. Kirby. Did you wear a tie?
Certainly not. I was 14 years old at the time.
Yes, but at 18 you wanted to be a saxophone player, didn't you?
Tony.
And at 21 you ran away from home because, get this, because grandfather wanted you to go into the business. Saw it down there in black and white. You didn't always think so.
We talked about this.
No, father. I want to talk about this right now. I think Mrs. Vanderhoff is right. Dead right. I'm never going back to that office, father. I've always hated it and I'm not going on with it. And I'll tell you something else. I didn't make a mistake last night. I knew it was the wrong night. I brought you here on purpose.
Tony, for heaven's sake.
Because I wanted you to wake up. I wanted you to see a family who actually loved and understood each other. You do not understand me because you never had the time. Well, I'm not going to make your mistake. I'm clearing out.
Clearing out? What do you mean?
I mean, I'm not going to be pushed into the business just because I'm your son. I'm getting out while there's still time.
What are you going to do, Tony?
I don't know. I'll be a bricklayer, but at least I'll be doing something I want to do.
Must be the cat. Ed, can you tell him to wait? Grandma, Alice. Now, Mr. Kirby, I'm pretty sure you can hear yourself about 25, 30 years ago saying the same thing to your father. I mean, how many of us are actually willing to settle for what we'll eventually get? We haven't got much time, any of us. So, I advise you that while we still got a little bit more time, I go and get a few hours in on that saxophone.
I beg your pardon, but before I make the vinces, how many will there be for dinner?
Oh, Grand Duchess older Katrina, Mr. and Mr. Kirby.
Before I make the vinces, how many will there be for dinner?
Oh, I make quite a stack of them. You can never tell what it is.
Good, the Tsar always said to me, Olga, do not be stingy with the vinces.
Miss Vanderhoff, who did you say that was?
The Grand Duchess older Katrina, she's cooking dinner.
Oh.
Speaking about dinner, Mr. Kirby, why don't you just stay for dinner?
Oh, yes, we're having all the food we were supposed to have tonight.
Bye, Father. Are we staying for dinner?
If you're happy to, Tony, I shall stay.
Now, if Alice would just sit away with that cab, Mrs. Vanderhoff.
How about it, Alice? Gonna be a pretty nice crowd.
What, don't you think the families ought to get to know each other, Alice?
Mr. Kirby, Tony, Grandma, you're wonderful.
I've been trying to tell you that for years.
I found a letter for you, Grandma. It was in the icebox.
Now, Miss Sycamore, won't you step into the office like you do a little dictator?
I better go like that to go.
Well.
What is it, Grandma?
The United States government apologizes. I don't owe them a dime. Why's that? Well, you know Charlie the milkmaid that we buried under my name?
Yes.
Well, I just told him I was Mrs. Martha Vanderhoff Jr. I don't owe him anything.
Why, Grandma, you're an old crow.
Sure.
So clever.
Sorry.
Miss Vanderhoff, how did you say you got rid of the income tax?
Tonight, my friend, you're going to eat.
Hi there.
How do you do? Yeah.
Fine. And you?
What is happening?
He's relaxing.
Did you hear that, everybody? It's time for dinner.
Oh, yes, of course.
You will like caution with Mr. Kirby.
Oh, but you must be careful of your indigestion.
Oh, nonsense, I haven't any indigestion.
So, Miss Sycamore, how was the trip to the Anaheim day?
Shut your face,